Minister of Labor expresses appreciation to all teachers on World Teachers Day. President of Parliament asks, what are we really seeing here when we are talking about goalpost moving? And President of the Positive Foundation talks about the calendar of events for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Those are the headlines for Monday, October the 5th, 2020. Good evening, viewers. This is SXM Daily News. I am Valerie Van Putten. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. And as usual, we have a full newscast for you, so let's get started. In our first story, the month of October is observed as Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and as a result, and as is customary, the Positive Foundation is taking the lead in organizing a series of events in observation of the month. This is being done in collaboration with the Electrolyte Foundation. So far, the two organizations have already hosted 2 events as part of their calendar of activities in celebration of the month, which is being observed under the theme, Give Hope, Save Lives. Yesterday, Sunday, October the 4th, CIBC teamed up with the Positive Foundation to host a virtual fundraiser walk for the cure and concert of hope. While speaking on the program in the Breakfast Lounge with Lady Grace Monday morning, the president of the Positive Foundation, Shelley Alfonso, gave an insight into the virtual event which was held.
The First Caribbean Bank this year decided that the Positive Foundation would be the foundation of choice to receive the funds this year. So therefore, we've partnered with them for this event. Okay. And it was actually very interesting. When I first heard the concept, when I was invited to the bank and they presented the idea to me, I go, what? How is this going to be? What is it going to be like? But in actuality, yesterday, with the gathering that the YouTube Can Move group put together at the John Larmany Center, where about 20 or so people gathered, and we watched it via the a large screen, Zoom. It was actually very interesting because the twist was that basically they were instructors that were on Zoom that was giving classes, and people were working out. We actually did some workout there as well. They were performers, entertainers from across the Caribbean, including St. Martin, that performed as well. So it turned into a little small party. Everyone being socially conscious with COVID-19 protocols, of course. Right. But we all had a great time thing. The purpose of that basically is to ensure that we can be able to bring back and keep the forefront in the focus the awareness for breast cancer and to raise funds, of course, for the Walk for the Cure. Right. So it was in 2 sessions. One, basically you can have fun while doing this, and then you can raise funds as well. And it was able to showcase globally how you can do this virtually as well.
And although the Positive Foundation will not be doing free clinical breast examinations this year due to COVID-19 pandemic, persons can still make appointments with their doctors to get screened, according to the Positive Foundation representative. She also noted that as part of this year's awareness program, they will be putting up several posters at strategic locations on the Dutch side. For the second year, the organization is also embarking on a prostate cancer awareness drive as well. This is being done under the theme Man Up, and according to Shelley Alfonso, prostate cancer posters will also be made visible as well.
Another big thing that we would normally do would be the free clinical breast examinations. Now, while we haven't organized with the clinics to do this, because I believe all the clinics now are basically by appointments only, that you can see your doctor. So therefore, this is a unique opportunity whereby you can actually make your appointment yourself to go to your doctor and get screened. So again, we did not do that for the simple reason because usually what we know is that everybody kind of gathers, wait for their time when they can see the doctor and then go in to see the doctor. Now things have changed. You have to make an appointment. So we did not go down that route. But what we did do in terms of trying to overcome some of the challenges is actually put up, we'll be putting up posters as we speak. This week they should go up. We launched them on the 1st and we will be putting them up throughout the Dutch side. We're looking mainly now at the medical clinics and public places where people will allow us to put it up. So I know for sure that we have Napa on board already, that they would have put up their posters already. Lydia's Flower Shop, of course, she's one of the models, so so her poster is gone up by Lydia's Flower Shop. So the messages on the posters are basically twofold, and there are two types of posters, one for breast cancer and one for prostate cancer. This is the second year that we've done prostate cancer. So we've launched posters for prostate cancer as well as for breast cancer. And breast cancer, the messages on the poster is basically feel it, find it, and fight it, of course. And it has a beautiful image of a pink face on that poster. One of our pink faces, you may recall Denise Stewart, she has passed. So on her poster, we've basically got the words that we're in support for those who have passed and those who are still going through the struggle on there. For prostate cancer awareness, it is, of course, man up, check up. So this is the images of 5 people, Ferdinand, Mercedes van der Wals's husband, my partner Daniel Dennis, Delisa's husband Matumi, Shigamutu is on there. We have Mr. Raymond Benjamin. He is a cancer warrior, prostate cancer warrior. And then we have Michael Ferrier, who's a prostate cancer survivor, as well, featured on those posters.
And in other news at this time, on the program, The Prime Minister Talks, which was aired late last week, the Minister of Finance, the Honorable Artuel Irion, was featured. The Minister of Finance expounded on government's budget and the drop in revenue and the financial cuts that have to be made to bring government's expenses down.
If you look at government's income, we have decreased by about close to 50%. If you look at the central bank data, the central bank expects a decrease in GDP by 24.8%, basically 25%, which basically means that if you translate it directly, you can see about half of our revenue dropping in government. So we typically did about 40 million guilders a month in revenue, between 35 and 40 million guilders. Now we're at about 20 million, and I believe for the month of September, we're going to be a little lower at about 18 to 17 million. So we see a drastic drop in revenue. And every government in the world, every business in the world, when you see a decrease in revenue, you then have to make financial cuts. And in addition to those financial cuts, we also have the conditions from the Netherlands, which most of you on the island already know about, the 25% for ministers and parliamentarians and 12.5% for civil servants. But we already planned and initiated our own cuts before the conditions. So those come on top of those. Some of the cuts that were implemented today, actually, were the cuts to the phones. All the postpaid phones went over to prepaid. And I just got word from the DMO, Mr. Erno Labega, that it was successful. So all phones now have been transferred to prepaid, and they are back online. So there was a moment in time, there's a little glitch, and they're all back online. I expect to save a substantial amount of money on this. Right now, we're working out the figures. I've requested to have the last 3 months of phone bills, so we can have an average expense on the phone bills. In addition to that, we have also stopped, at least I've requested that by Telem, I don't know if it's implemented as yet, to stop all overseas calls at the public schools and any other landlines that we have outside the building. Right now, we have Teams, we have Skype, we have WhatsApp, video call, and so forth. So the need to call overseas via the regular line, I believe, has decreased. And we also have looked at our gas policy, right, which has already been approved by COM also. We've had a presentation. We are going over now from a gas bond system to a prepaid system. So every person that has access to a vehicle or drives a vehicle will now have basically a top-up card for your gas, and it will be predetermined the amount of money on the card, and the money doesn't roll over. So, for example, if your card has a top-up of 200 guilders, and you only use 100 guilders, it doesn't roll over to the next month. It starts over again. So that way we also save money. But more importantly, with both of these systems, is that we are able to track. So now we're able to say, okay, why is vehicle X and vehicle Z that supposed to do the same work, why is vehicle X spending 3 times the amount of gas or miles than vehicle Y? And even with the phones now, we monitor even more. Even though it's prepaid, we are still able to monitor. And no question, I believe you will see it'll be even more beneficial for us going forward in 2021. Because right now we already have it as prepaid, so we can calculate in advance already what the exact budget is for next year.
Right.
Whereas right now, how the system is that we have postpaid numbers with a fixed amount per month, but there are a lot of persons that are going over this amount, and the accountability and control for the last 5 years or more hasn't been there, and we see the effects of it now. For the last about 5 years, we've gone over the budget between 15 and 19 million guilders.
And still to come, President of Parliament asks, what are we really seeing here when we are talking about goalpost moving? I'll have a detail to that story and much more when SXM Daily News returns.
GEBE has been faithfully serving the communities of St. Martin, powering your home and our economy. Come rain or shine, our qualified team of professionals are working hard 24 hours a day to provide you and your family with safe, reliable electricity and water. We use the latest technologies and test our products daily to maintain the highest international standards. Our friendly staff is always there to assist you, whether in person, over the phone, or online. We are committed to constantly improving our products and services, making them more efficient, effective, and environmentally friendly to serve you better today and our next generation of clients tomorrow. GEBE, powering a brighter future.
Our friend Mega Wadi is here with tips to save you energy. 1. Turn your airco temperature up. 2. Use a ceiling fan instead. 3. Buy energy-saving products. Save some green with NVGEBE.
Welcome back, viewers. You're watching SXM Daily News, and I'm Valerie from Putin. And as we continue now with other news, Member of Parliament for the National Alliance, the Honourable Solange Duncan, questioned the Windward Islands Chamber of Labour Unions at the continuation of their urgent public meeting of Parliament on discussion with the Chamber of Labour Unions and the Committee of Civil Servants Unions regarding clarification on agreements reached thus far between CCSU and government, which was held on September the 28th. The MP asked about reforms and what is a practical approach moving forward. The Member of Parliament said that she would love to hear a practical approach. Meanwhile, President of Parliament, the Honourable Rolando Bryson, says his point is very simple on this matter. What are we really seeing here when we are talking about goalposts moving? He used Aruba as an example. The president said that Aruba complied with every single condition, and even after they complied with every condition, it moved again.
We've been talking about reforms. We've been talking about cost saving and cost generation, again, for a decade. So my only question right now, Mr. Chairman, to the unions, through you, is what is a practical approach moving forward? So I appreciate that the unions, and with a short time, submitted a number of proposals for cost saving. What is a practical approach? Do we need to get some project teams together? Should we get a committee established, an interministerial committee? Something practical needs to take place. You know why? Because it's not only about COVID-19 or Dutch conditions. Moving forward, either which way, we have to reform this government. We have to reform how government operates on St. Martin, either which way. So this isn't now. We need to talk about what is going to happen over the next few years. That is extremely important. Reforms need to take place, and everyone needs to play a part in it. I have never had a top-down approach. every single civil servant, from the politician down to the lady that cleans the bathroom, maybe not her necessarily. However, everyone needs to be held accountable, and we really do need to put our heads together in order to move forward. But I would love to hear a practical approach on how to deal with whether it's new agreements, all agreements, whatever it is, a practical approach moving forward.
On June 1st, 2020, the CCSU responded that they were in agreement, however, with the condition that the agreement be ratified in Elbeham. Okay, so at a certain point, it was, from what I'm reading here, it was understood, okay, we clear on this deferral thing, but we needed to be at Elbeham. Then that became another back and forth from the documents I'm reading here where, listen, we cannot do that by June 30th. We need more time, etc. My point is very simple on this matter of and it keeps coming back to what are we really seeing here when we're talking about goalpost moving? It is not the government of St. Martin moving the goalpost. In February, we heard one condition, March another, April another, May, June, July. It has constantly moved, not just for us. Look at Aruba. Aruba complied with every single condition. And even after complying with the conditions and doing the cuts of salaries and so on, it moved again. This is what they do. And again, now it is affecting you, union members, because you are rightfully getting frustrated by that. But this is by design. This is not by accident. This is designed to pit us against each other when, as we just said, we need to come together and deal with this. That is why I wanted to highlight this issue. And I'm happy to hear Mr. Arundel mention goalpost moving. But who moving it? We are not in a position within this so-called country status to move any goalposts. Because I will tell you this, if the government was able to go on the open market and was treating you all like this, I would have been right there next to you striking in front of the government building. Because then it was we making our own determination with our own funding and then treating this and changing goalposts and so on. But I know for a fact that this goalpost movement is coming from there at the admittance of Mr. Knops himself.
And President of the YCLU and Y2, Mrs. Clay Elshot, in response to the members of Parliament's questions, explained how the whole process works.
And prior to this letter of the General Audit Chamber, there was a letter going out to a group of my members at a private school board that is subsidized, and in which the chairlady of that school board clearly stated to the workers that they would be receiving the 100% vacation allowance due to the fact that the vacation allowance ordinance has not been changed. She did not get a changed version to justify for her to be able to change the labor agreement. And we applaud that person, that chairlady that took that stance. She clearly told her teachers that, I don't know for 2021, but you will be receiving your full 100%. Not quite long after that, we had a chairman of another school board subsidized by the government that also stated, after having a meeting that was called by the Minister of Education, this chairman that happened to be a lawyer, an outstanding lawyer in profession, stated that he cannot be held responsible and would not be held responsible by his workers for any unilateral change in their labor agreement mandated by the Council of Ministers, because he did not have a law to pay out only 50% of the vacation allowance. So what happened? When the date rolled around, the good gentleman spoke to the union as chairman of this school board and say, well, I'll have to rob Peter to pay Paul if I don't have the funds right away in my budget, but I will pay 100%. Now, the development after that with, there was one specific school board that paid 50%. And the minute that this letter came from the General Audit Chamber, the chair lady of that board, or the superintendent of that school board, ordered her, what you would call the persons that do her administration and her payroll, she ordered them to deposit the remaining 50%. So when you look at the scope of the workers that the Windward Island Teachers Union represent, all the teachers by subsidized school boards have received 100% vacation allowance for 2020. Most of them paid between the second half of June, which is the 15th to the 30th, as prescribed by law, and only the teachers of public schools have not received. Some of them, if you look at the pay slip, you wonder if that's 50%, because I cannot calculate what they receive and really say that as 50%.
Now, turning to our weather forecast for October the 5th, 2020, a reduction in low-level moisture across the northeastern Caribbean is restricting the possibility of significant shower activity. Nevertheless, lingering moisture could be enhanced by an upper-level trough and daytime heating to produce local showers. Marine conditions will remain slight to moderate for the next few days. Tropical Depression 26 was upgraded to Tropical Storm Delta and is located about 1,030 miles west-northwest of St. Martin. This system does not pose a threat to the island. So the outlook through Wednesday midday, partly cloudy, becoming cloudy at times with isolated showers. Now let's turn to your 3-day forecast. And still to come, 10-10-10, a new start for the islands of the Netherlands Antilles. We'll have the details of that story and more when SXM Daily News returns.
Make use of WIB mobile banking with easy access and direct usage of face recognition, PIN code, or fingerprint. Download WIB mobile banking app and make your transaction from anywhere at any time. For more information, visit wib-bank.net/quick-login.
Welcome back, viewers. You're watching SXM Daily News. And now in more news for you at this time, St. Martin will be commemorating the 10th anniversary of 10-10-10, the day when we became a constituent country of the Kingdom of the Netherlands. On Sunday, October the 10th, 2010, Curaçao and St. Martin became constituent countries of the Kingdom of the Netherlands. The islands of Bonaire, Saba, and St. Eustatius became special municipalities of the islands, so the Netherlands Antilles then ceased to exist as a country. Prime Minister of St. Martin, the Honorable Sylvia Jacobs, speaking at the Council of Ministers' weekly press briefing last week, says that the commemoration comes at a ticklish time, but as a country, we need to stop, look back, and reflect where we are today and plan on where we want to be 20 or 30 years down the line.
And on the following week, Saturday, St. Martin will be celebrating its 10th, or I should say commemorating its 10th year as a country within the kingdom. It comes at a very ticklish time, I must say, but most definitely we must as a country stop to reflect and look back, look at where we are today, and plan for the next 10, 20, and 30 years as to where we want to be. I would like for all of us to reflect on the challenges we have faced, what we have overcome, but also the challenges we still have to face in the coming months, or I should say days, weeks, months, and years. I would like for all of us as well to understand that we are definitely not defined by our challenges, and we will be defined by how much we have overcome them as we have in the past. This decade, in my view, has been, despite it all, a decade of victory for St. Martin, one of resiliency and one of national growth. Of course, there is still a lot to be done, and that is why we are here, and we are determined to do it together with all the stakeholders. We will continue as government to foster and guide this process, even in the darkest times, because it is in the darkest times that we see a light that can shine and that can bring this country to where we are or where we need to be. The celebrations that we have planned will highlight the historical process of coming to where we are, and this will be brought via DCOM to you in your homes, live stream. There will also be on Saturday a small live, on the 10th itself, a small live celebration at the courthouse that is being spearheaded by His Excellency the Governor.
And still to come, Minister of Labor expresses appreciation to all teachers on World Teachers' Day. I'll have the details to that story when SXM Daily News returns. And welcome back, viewers. And as we end this edition of SXM Daily News for you for this evening, the Honorable Minister of Public Health, Labor and Social Affairs, VSA, Richard Panafleck, expressed his appreciation to all teachers today, Monday, October the 5th, 2020, on World Teachers' Day. The minister said that amid a global pandemic, our teachers have become more vital as they continue to adjust, shape, and teach through distance learning. Minister Panafleck encourages all teachers to keep the faith and continue to educate their students on the safety and protocols of the country during this COVID-19 pandemic. He thanks all teachers for playing such an important role in shaping children's education and expressed his hope that their work and efforts does not go unnoticed. Meanwhile, Prime Minister of St. Martin and former educator herself, the Honorable Sylvia Jacobs, said that as an educator for 20 years myself, I know firsthand the joy and the elation a teacher feels when the light goes on for a child, especially one who has been struggling. Teachers have always had one of the most important vocations in our society. This has become even more evident during these trying times. During this COVID-19 pandemic, a greater appreciation for nurses and teachers has grown within our community, one which I pray will endure long after COVID-19 is no longer a daily threat. Teachers help to instill skills in students of all ages, assist them to grow and develop, and inspire them to fulfill their dreams, goals, and future careers. They give purpose and inspire in their students a drive to do well and help set them up for success as citizens of the world. As many teachers and students alike look forward to and are preparing to get back face to face as safely as possible, I wish you all continued strength of character, courage, wisdom, and serenity. Her message reads in part. And with that, viewers, we've come to the end of this edition of SXM Daily News. I am Valerie Van Putten, thanking you so much for tuning in this evening. And just a reminder that this and other programs are available online. Simply log on to stmartinmediacenter.com for viewing. And on behalf of the SXM Daily News team, we thank you for watching and plan on meeting you right back here again tomorrow.